The hospital corridor echoed with the rhythmic squeak of rubber-soled shoes. It was late, past visiting hours, and the once bustling space had quieted to a serene hum, punctuated only by the occasional beeping monitors and muffled conversations behind closed doors. I had no business being there, but then again, life often has a strange way of pulling you into situations you never anticipated. My name is Alex, and I'd come to the hospital that evening to visit my cousin, Kara, who worked as a nurse in the emergency department. She'd promised to show me around during her break, offering a rare glimpse into her fast-paced world. "You've got to see what it's really like," she'd said with a mischievous grin, her enthusiasm infectious. When I arrived, the ER was surprisingly calm. Kara greeted me at the staff entrance, her auburn hair tied back neatly, her uniform pristine. "You're just in time," she said, tugging me through the doors. She introduced me to a few of her colleagues, a lively group of nurses who radiated camaraderie. Among them were Mia, the quick-witted charge nurse, Jasmine, who had an infectious laugh, and Leah, whose warm smile immediately put me at ease. "You're braver than most," Mia said, her eyes glinting with humor. "Most people run from the idea of stepping foot in here." "I'm just curious," I replied. "Kara makes it sound like a circus." "Oh, it is," Jasmine chimed in. "But tonight's one of those rare unicorn nights where everything's calm." "You picked the perfect time." We spent the next half-hour chatting as Kara gave me a mini tour of the ER. I marveled at how organized chaos could be so ordinary to them. Then Kara's pager buzzed. "Ugh, Tree," she muttered. "Alex, hang tight. I'll be back in a few." She left me in the staff lounge, a cozy room with worn couches, a coffee maker that had clearly seen better days, and a shelf lined with scrubs in every shade of blue and green. I settled into a corner, scrolling through my phone. A few minutes later, the door burst open and Mia, Jasmine, and Leah walked in. They were mid-laughter, carrying cups of coffee and a bag of chips. "Oh, hey," Mia said, spotting me. "Still here, Huz?" "Yeah, Kara said she'd be back soon," I replied. Jasmine raised an eyebrow. "Well, since you're stuck with us for a bit," her gaze flicked to the scrubs rack. "You ever wondered what it's like to be a nurse?" I laughed. "Not really my calling." "Come on," Leah said, her voice teasing. "Just for fun. We've got a quiet night, and we could use some entertainment." "Entertainment," I echoed, unsure whether to be amused or alarmed. "Oh, don't look so nervous," Jasmine said, already pulling a set of scrubs from the rack. "It's just a little dress-up." Before I could protest, Mia chimed in, her tone persuasive. "It's tradition for visitors. A rite of passage. Plus, you'll fit right in. Most of our male colleagues have tried it at least once." "Wait, what?" I said, incredulous. "Relax," Leah said, laughing. "We're just messing with you. But seriously, you'd look great in a nurse's uniform." "Absolutely," Jasmine added. "And we've got everything you need. Scrubs, a cap, even one of those cute little name tags." I hesitated, torn between embarrassment and curiosity. "I don't know." "Don't be a spoil sport," Mia said. "It's just us. No one else will see." Their playful persistence was relentless, and before I knew it, they had convinced me to play along. Jasmine handed me a neatly folded set of scrubs, a crisp white cap, and a pair of matching sneakers. "Here," she said, grinning. "The changing room's right there." "Fine," I said, rolling my eyes but unable to suppress a smile. But just for a minute. The changing room was small but tidy, with a full-length mirror mounted on one wall. As I slipped into the uniform, I couldn't help but notice how surprisingly comfortable it was. The fabric was soft, and the fit, well, let's just say it was snug in all the right places. When I stepped out, the nurses erupted into cheers and laughter. "Look at you," Jasmine said, clapping her hands. "You pull it off better than I expected," Mia said, giving me an approving nod. Leah tilted her head, studying me with a critical eye. "Something's missing." She rummaged through a drawer and pulled out a name tag that read Alexandra. "Perfect," she said, pinning it to my chest. I groaned, but I couldn't deny that their enthusiasm was infectious. "Wait," Jasmine said, pulling out her phone. "We need pictures." "Oh no," I protested, holding out my hands. "Relax, it's just for us," she said, snapping a few shots before I could object further. Just as I was starting to get comfortable in the uniform, the door to the lounge opened and Kara walked in. She stopped dead in her tracks, her eyes widening as she took in the scene. "What the hell is going on?" she asked, her tone a mix of disbelief and amusement. "Your cousin's a natural," Mia said, grinning. Kara's gaze shifted to me, and she burst out laughing. "Alex, you've officially outdone yourself." "Hey, this wasn't my idea," I said, throwing up my hands in mock indignation. Sure, she said, still laughing. "Well, since you're all dressed up, you might as well make yourself useful." "Excuse me?" "Come on," she said, motioning for me to follow. "We got a patient who could use some company." The nurses exchanged amused glances as I reluctantly trailed after Kara. She led me to a room where an elderly woman sat propped up in bed, her face lighting up when we entered. "Mrs. Hargrove, this is Alex," Kara said, gesturing to me. "He's shadowing me tonight." "Hello, dear," Mrs. Hargrove said, her voice warm. "It's lovely to meet you." "And you," I replied, offering a shy smile. Kara handed me a clipboard. "Why don't you take her vitals?" "What?" "I don't know how." "Just kidding," she said, smirking. "Relax. Mrs. Hargrove just loves a good chat." I spent the next few minutes talking with the elderly woman, who regaled me with stories of her youth. It was surprisingly enjoyable, and for a moment, I forgot all about the uniform. When we returned to the lounge, the nurses greeted us with a round of applause. "How was your first patient?" Mia teased. "Don't quit your day job," Kara said, grinning. The rest of the night passed in a blur of laughter and camaraderie. By the time I changed back into my own clothes, I felt a strange sense of kinship with the nurses. "Thanks for indulging us," Leah said as I prepared to leave. "Anytime," I replied, surprising myself with how much I meant it. As I walked out into the cool night air, I couldn't help but smile. It had been an unexpected evening, but one I wouldn't soon forget. For a few hours, I'd stepped into their world. A world of care, compassion, and a touch of mischief. And who knows? Maybe one day, I'd return in uniform. I stepped out of the hospital, the night air crisp against my skin, but my mind lingered on the events of the evening. I couldn't shake the mixture of emotions, embarrassment, amusement, and something else I couldn't quite define. That nurse's uniform, how strange it felt, and yet, how natural it seemed after a while. But the story didn't end there. The following week, Kara called me up. "Hey, Alex," she began, her tone suspiciously casual. "You free this weekend?" "Maybe." "Why?" "Well, my department's hosting a small fundraiser. It's a charity event to raise money for new equipment. I thought you might want to help out." "Me? What could I possibly do to help?" "Oh, I don't know," she said, her voice tinged with mischief. "You're good at following orders, and you've already got the uniform." I groaned, instantly regretting picking up the call. "No way. Not happening." "Come on," she urged. "It's for a good cause. Plus, everyone loved you the other night. You are the highlight of our week." "I think you're confusing me with someone else," I muttered, but Kara wasn't having it. "Look," she said, switching to her serious voice. "We're really short on volunteers. It's just a couple of hours, and you'd mostly be helping out at the welcome desk or passing out refreshments. No one's going to expect you to take vitals again." I sighed, already feeling myself giving in. Kara had a knack for convincing me to do things I'd never willingly sign up for.
"Fine," I said at last.
"But only if you promise not to make a big deal out of it." "No promises," she replied, laughing. Saturday arrived far too quickly for my liking. When I showed up at the hospital, Kara was waiting for me in the staff lounge, a grin plastered across her face. "You're late," she teased. "You're lucky I showed up at all," I shot back. She handed me a folded uniform, this time a crisp white dress with pale blue trim. My stomach dropped. "You've got to be kidding me. This is what everyone's wearing," she said, shrugging innocently. "You want to fit in, don't you? I thought you said no big deal."
"Oh, relax.
It's not like you haven't done this before. This is different. I protested, holding up the dress. This is absolutely adorable. Kara finished smirking. Before I could argue further, Leah walked in, already dressed in the same uniform. Hey, Alex, she greeted, her face lighting up. Then she noticed what I was holding and let out a laugh. Oh, they got you too, huh? This wasn't part of the deal, I grumbled. Leah patted my shoulder reassuringly. You'll survive. Trust me, once you're out there, no one will bat an eye. Besides, it's all for charity, right? I muttered something unintelligible under my breath and headed to the changing room. Once again, I found myself staring at my reflection in the mirror. The dress was surprisingly flattering, cinching slightly at the waist and falling just above my knees. Kara had even provided a pair of white tights and matching shoes to complete the look. When I stepped out, Kara and Leah were waiting, their expressions ranging from amused to impressed. Wow, Kara said, giving me a once-over. You clean up nicely. I feel ridiculous, I said, adjusting the hem of the dress. You look great, Leah reassured me. And anyway, it's all about confidence. Just own it. The event was held in the hospital's atrium, which had been transformed into a bustling fairground. There were booths offering health screenings, games for kids, and tables laden with baked goods for sale. A small stage at the center featured live music, and a steady stream of visitors flowed through the space. I spent most of the afternoon stationed at the welcome desk, handing out brochures and answering questions. To my surprise, no one seemed to find my outfit unusual. If anything, the visitors were warm and friendly, and a few even complimented my uniform. As the hours passed, I began to relax. The nurses occasionally stopped by to check on me, their playful teasing lighthearted and good-natured. Kara, true to form, couldn't resist snapping a few candid photos when she thought I wasn't looking. Blackmail material, she said with a grin when I caught her. I rolled my eyes but couldn't help smiling. As the event wound down, Kara approached me with an unexpected request. Hey, Alex, she began, her tone carefully casual. What now? I asked, wary. There's this thing we do every year, kind of a tradition.
Uh-huh.
And what exactly does this tradition involve? Well, she said, hesitating. At the end of the fundraiser, we always do a little skit for the staff and volunteers. It's just for fun, and we thought you might want to join in. I stared at her, unblinking.
Kara, no.
Come on, she pleaded. It's just a silly little act. You don't even have to say anything. Just stand there and look, well, nurse why. I groaned. I should have known there'd be a catch. Despite my protests, I somehow found myself on the small stage with Kara, Leah, and the others, performing a slapstick rendition of a day in the life of an ER nurse. My role was simple. I was the hapless trainee, bumbling through a series of exaggerated mishaps while the seasoned nurses rescued me at every turn. The audience loved it. By the time we took our final bow, the atrium was filled with laughter and applause. Later that evening, as I changed back into my regular clothes, I couldn't help reflecting on the day. What had started as an awkward, uncomfortable obligation had turned into something surprisingly fun and meaningful. When I stepped out of the changing room, Kara was waiting for me, her expression unusually soft.
Hey, she said.
Thanks for doing this. I know we give you a hard time, but you were a good sport. Yeah, well, you owe me, I said, though my tone was more teasing than serious. She smiled. I know.
Dinner's on me next time.
As I walked out into the night, I felt a sense of pride that I hadn't expected. The nurses had welcomed me into their world, if only for a short time, and in doing so, they'd shown me the importance of what they did. Not just the care and skill they brought to their work, but the humor, camaraderie, and humanity that made it all possible. And though I wouldn't admit it to anyone, part of me wondered if there might be another uniform in my future someday. Thank you so much for watching till now. It means the world to have you here. This community is all about empowering each other and celebrating the incredible journeys of everyone on their path to living authentically. If you're ever feeling lost or alone, remember you have a whole family here for you. Hit that subscribe button. Smash that like button. And let's keep inspiring each other, sending you all the love and strength in the world. Until next time, live your life by your rules.